The December emergency patch notes are officially here, and today I'm gonna show you all the balance changes and how you can take the best out of these patch notes. To start off, we have the Barbarian King, and the Barbarian King had 2 buffs to both of his promotions. His first promotion, the healing one, got instead of a 10% healing every 4 hits to a 15% healing every 4 hits. And honestly, a very well deserved one. This promotion was pretty darn bad. And his third promotion now gives him quadruple the damage. So now Barbarian King did his last promotion will stand out by himself very easily. Next on the buff list we have the Archer Queen, and now her super is a lot faster. I mean, her super is literally instantaneous now. I honestly don't think that's gonna change much for the Archer Queen. She still doesn't have that great of the synergy and her builds are a bit lacking, but this is a start and it's gonna make her slightly better. Next we have the Countess, and the Countess had the whole deal. To start off, her super now deals 10 damage, and that also means that she now with her super heals 10 damage, because we are talking about lifesteal, a lot more damage. Her first ability, instead of being plus 2 damage, it's now plus 4 damage, which is gonna make her pretty deadly to injured minis. Her second ability, now instead of being 10% attack speed, it's 20% attack speed, and this ability could now be so crazy when played in the first round. And lastly, her third ability, now it's 100% health steal. It's gonna make her pretty tanky, but I still feel like her second ability, it's gonna be the best. Next on the buff list we have Shieldwind, and her energy cost, it went from 10 to 9. That's gonna make her cycle her super a lot more, but that's pretty much it. I don't think that's gonna help her too much, but it's still a really good buff, honestly. Next we have Skeleton King, and now his base HP, it went from 50 to 55. A good buff to his health, because honestly he felt a bit fragile, and that also means that he revives with 2 more hit points, which could make the difference. And his third promotion now, instead of being plus 2 damage to his super, it's 4 damage. I still feel like his first promotion it's by far the better one, but a decent buff. Next we have Royal Champion. I am very worried about this one. Her base damage went from 2 to 3, now she has 1 initial energy, and her health promotion was buffed from plus 10 to plus 12. And trust me, that damage buff is gonna be really impactful with both of her boast promotions. This could be dangerous. Natureborn now starts on her deer form in the first line rather than her human form on the third line. A bit of a difference, but honestly, not that great of a deal. The monk, however, his base HP was increased from 5 to 55, and the most important, his super animation is now a lot faster. And honestly, his super slow super was the main reason why he was so awful in the first place. And also his third promotion, now instead of being a 14 energy cost super, it's only a 12 energy cost super. But honestly, that's not gonna change anything, the promotion parts. The super being faster, that's what it really matters. Next on the nerfs we have Pink Fury. Thank God! Her HP went from 55 to 50, and her super animation is now a lot slower. Thank God as well, her super was weirdly fast. Now, her first promotion is only 8% attack speed and 4% movement speed, and all of her promotions now cost 4 elixir as well. Honestly, I think that they went a little too harsh on the nerfs, but she definitely deserved it. She was the strongest hero with no doubt on the game. I just feel like they shouldn't have nerfed her HP, but she's still gonna be a good hero. Wavemaster had his energy cost increased from 8 to 9. Honestly, I feel like that wasn't really that the problem. I mean, he super dealt a lot of damage and he still has a good attack speed. The problem was his second promotion, but yeah, a decent nerf overall. Now on to the minis. Miner had his HP per upgrade increased from plus 8 to plus 10. And that is gonna make him survive a lot longer on the backlines, because I felt like he was a bit fragile. Next we have the Golden Giant, and now his energy cost instead of being 10, it's 9. What the hell? I didn't even knew that his energy cost was 10. I would never guessed it. Honestly, that's gonna do nothing. I have no doubts that the Golden Giant is still gonna be a pretty darn bad tank. Next we have my living nightmare, the Wizard. he had his energy cost increased from 3 to 4, and his first upgrade, instead of being plus 8 damage, it will now be plus 6 damage. Both of these nerfs very well deserved. He honestly was just way too powerful for a 3 elixir. Next we have Giant Skeleton, and his death bomb at base level, it's now from 10 damage to 15 damage. That's gonna make his bomb a lot deadlier, and I feel like that's a decent buff, but if you still miss the bomb, there's just no value, so I feel like he will probably stay around the B tier. Now for the Valkyrie, her base HP was increased from 28 to 30, which I feel like that's not gonna make that big of a difference, but her attack speed was increased from 0.4 to 0.5, and that could be very important, especially because of her healing boost, and I feel like she will now be a more aggressive semi-tank, honestly. The Dart Goblin had his base attack speed increased from 0.6 to 0.65. Meh. Next we have the Healing Ranger, and she now starts with 2 energy. Again, not that great of a buff, but honestly she was pretty bad, so any buff is welcome. Next we have the Lumberjack, and he had a very interesting buff. Now his potion, besides the rage, it will also give 1 energy, and that, in my opinion, it's exactly what he needed. He will now be so much more versatile, not to mention that you can also give that energy from his Clash. So I would not be surprised if we start seeing a lot more Lumberjack from now on. Next we have the P.E.K.K.A, and she had some really big buffs. To start off, her base damage was increased from 8 to 12, and her HP per upgrade was increased from 15 to 20. Not to mention that her third upgrade is now, instead of plus 4 damage, it's plus 6 damage. So overall her damage was buffed by 50%, and her HP was also increased. I am scared of the P.E.K.K.A right now, I really am. Next we have the Witch, and she had a very weird rework. She now is a 3 elixir. To compensate, her HP went from 18 to 15, and her attack speed from 0.7 to 0.6. I don't know what to think about this one, honestly. I feel like it's gonna be good because she will summon the skeletons with a lot less elixir, so I'm curious to see how will the Witch be in this new meta. Next we have Chompy. I still do not have him, so my judgment might not be the most accurate, but now his HP is 30, it used to be 20, and his lifesteal it is 100%. I feel like he's gonna be really strong because now that the Witch also only costs 3 elixir, their combo will be a lot stronger, and I could see both of these minis have a very OP synergy. Next we have Mega Knight, and his base HP went from 40 to 45, his initial energy went from 1 to 2, and his super is now a lot faster. And I mean a lot, really. This guy doesn't even jump off the floor, he now just stabs his face on the floor and goes BOOM out of nowhere. Like, his super is now really fast, and I could see Mega Knight now be a decent tank and stunner as well. Next we have the Magic Archer, and his base attack speed was increased from 0.55 to 0.65, and do not forget that he has the Ranger synergy, so this could be really good. Besides that, his HP per upgrade was increased from 10 to 12, so he's gonna be a lot tankier and a lot harder to take down. Next we have the Bandit, and she had 2 HP buffs. Her base HP was increased from 22 to 25, and her HP per upgrade was increased from 11 to 14. This is gonna make the Bandit a lot harder to kill and a lot easier for her to cycle the supers by receiving damage. Next we have the Royal Ghost, and his base HP was increased from 18 to 22, and his HP per star was increased from plus 12 to plus 14. And besides that, his attack speed at 0 stars was increased from 0.5 to 0.6. Honestly, this will make the Royal Ghost a lot better, but because there is a lot of AoE right now, I don't think that even with his buffs he will be that great of a deal, but I feel like if he can go invisible a lot of times, he could sneak into the meta. Next we have the Princess. Attention, I do not have any 5 elixirs, so do not take this way too seriously. So her base HP was increased from 15 to 18, and her HP per upgrade was increased from 10 to 12, and her energy cost was reduced from 9 to 8. Honestly, even though she had a devastating super, her steps were just underwhelming. Her stats were horrible. So I think this will make the princess a lot better without relying on her super way too heavily. And lastly we have the Angel Boxer. He had his base HP increased from 30 all the way to 40, and his base super damage was increased from 20 to 25. The Angel Boxer also had the same problem as the princess. His stats were just simply underwhelming. And I feel like with these buffs, he will now be a lot deadlier and will be a lot easier to cycle his super from receiving damage. And that is a big deal on a 5 elixir. And there you have it. All the balance changes on emergency patch notes, a very big one may I say, in December, and all of the balance changes. Did you like them, and who do you think is gonna be the big guy on the new meta? Tell me in the comments, I will read them. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next video.